WWE's roster is huge, like really big. So, when you have 300 active competitors on the main roster alone, it's difficult to fit them all into one big show. WWE always hopes to outdo its previous Wrestlemania by making it bigger and better. Whilst bigger and longer seems to be the case for this year's Mania, packing in 16 matches, something they haven't done since WrestleMania 4's WWE Championship Tournament, it might not equate to being better. But regardless of whether you think quantity is better than quality, WWE have noticeably omitted a number of wrestlers who really should be on the show of shows. Now, these aren't your typical show fillers that headline episodes of Main Event. These are actual main eventers missing from the show. Is there a reason for their absence? Why have they been excluded from the show, and what role could or should they have been given? Well, let's consider the options. Number 1. Kevin Owens. Probably one of the most unlikely wrestlers to be excluded from WrestleMania, and surely one of the most hardworking and deserving is prizefighter Kevin Owens. If you recall, Owens was in a feud with Bobby Lashley all the way back in October last year, but required time off to undergo surgery on both his knees. A kayfabe injury angle was set so that he could take enough time to recuperate from the surgery. Just before he left, a double turn had taken place, as longtime heel Kevin Owens would now refreshingly take on a babyface role, and Lashley would turn heel, something many felt what his character needed in order to progress up the ranks and be taken seriously if they ever wanted him in the championship picture. Months later, Owens made his long-awaited return as the replacement opponent for Kofi Kingston, where he would face Daniel Bryan in a WWE Championship match at Fastlane. Owens would lose, and sadly it became more and more apparent that his return would be just used as filler and serve purely as a stepping stone for Kofi's eventual Mania push. Whilst rumours circulated that Owens was supposed to be the man who would face Bryan for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, plans for his return were entirely different. Mike Johnson commented on PW Insider Elite Audio that WWE had a plan for Kevin Owens initially that might have probably better served him in the long run. He mentioned, "The original plan for Owens was to have him come back on the day after WrestleMania, and then they rushed him back with no plan. So far, the only realistic plan would be to shove him in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, but of course he would serve no other purpose other than to pick up a WrestleMania bonus check." 29 WWE superstars including celebrities have been confirmed for the Battle Royal, so perhaps WWE will round it up to 30 with the addition of Kevin Owens, possibly being a surprise entrant at the last minute. Perhaps a better suggestion would see him be added to the United States Championship bout between Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio, as Mysterio's health is currently up in the air. During his match against Baron Corbin, Mysterio suffered an ankle injury and has only provided this update. "Suffered an injury on my right ankle this past Monday night on Raw against Baron Corbin. Praying to be ready for Mania this Sunday." If it's the case of Mysterio not being able to compete, they could have Owens serve as a replacement. A match between the two powerhouses would be phenomenal, and fans wouldn't be too upset at the idea of Mysterio and Joe not happening, since the two have already faced off against each other on SmackDown Live. Number 2. Dean Ambrose. As most will know, the Lunatic Fringe has decided to call it quits with WWE. Although Ambrose hasn't given us a proper explanation on why he turned down a lucrative contract to stay on, it's believed his decision was based on his poor booking and character development. It wasn't for certain, but Ambrose looked to be written off television, as he would be destroyed at the hands of the Scottish psychopath on not one, but 2 occasions. Since his contract would be up sometime after WrestleMania, it seems that the WWE didn't see any point in featuring him at WrestleMania, not even inserting him into the pointless Battle Royal. Ambrose did however make an off-screen appearance on Monday Night Raw, executing the dirty deeds on Baron Corbin, and his version of saying goodbye to the fans with a victory lap around the ring. Whilst we side with the WWE that it would be pointless in giving Ambrose some exposure at Mania since he's already made up his mind, it would have been fitting for Ambrose to be involved in the main event, helping his brethren Seth Rollins win the Universal Championship. probably serving as more or less an apology for turning on him months before. Number 3. Bray Wyatt. We haven't seen Bray Wyatt on WWE television since he and Matt Hardy were defeated for the Raw Tag Team Championship by the B-Team in mid-August last year. After Matt Hardy learned of his injury and wanted to take a break from wrestling, it left his partner in limbo, which allowed Wyatt to take some time off as well. Weeks turned into months, but the Eater of the Worlds would make a shocking unannounced return at WWE Starrcade show, defeating Baron Corbin in an unaired no disqualification match. But once the match was done, Wyatt returned to obscurity. Wyatt isn't injured, but it seems he was considered for a gimmick refresher, where plans were possibly nixed, and Wyatt is now in creative hiatus, as reported by wrestling journalist Tom Coligny on Twitter. He tweeted, "I get questions regularly about Bray Wyatt's return, and it's probably the most closely guarded secret in WWE. I don't know if he'll be on Raw or SmackDown Live. I've been told both, but also different potential storylines. To my knowledge, he's still in creative hiatus, for now. Hopefully WWE has a plan in mind for him, and it could be to reignite his feud with the Demon King Finn Balor at Wrestlemania, costing him the Intercontinental Championship against Bobby Lashley, and perhaps this time it can exclude the cheesy appearance of Sister Abigail." Number 4. The Undertaker. Okay, we all know that The Undertaker is now winding down his career by making limited appearances in WWE, and whether you want to see him wrestle or not, this WrestleMania shouldn't mark the first time in 18 years that we have an Undertakerless Mania. There's been no sight of him in WWE since tagging with half-brother Kane at the Crown Jewel event in Saudi Arabia, and since the Royal Rumble, even WWE have been unsure on whether The Undertaker will appear on the grandest stage of them all. However, according to Mike Johnson at PWInsider.com, The Undertaker will be in New Jersey during the WrestleMania weekend, and he was spotted backstage during this week's live taping of SmackDown Live. One fan even managed to grab a photo of him, indicating he is in New Jersey. While some fans look to Taker's last 2 WrestleMania appearances as a sign he may need to retire, the dead man recently posted a picture on Instagram showing he's lost a remarkable amount of weight and looks good. The Undertaker even commented, "The reports of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. I've made some serious lifestyle changes in an attempt to offset the years of physical abuse my body has endured." Still in great shape for his age, this could just be in preparation for his scheduled appearance at May's Saudi Arabia show. But to hype his return, WWE could have him appear in a non-wrestling role by interrupting Elias's musical performance, possibly even setting up a match for the Saudi Arabia event. Elias has even been vocal on who he'd love to face next, and Taker is at the top of his list. Speaking on SiriusXM's Busted Open Radio, he mentioned, "It's gonna sound crazy, but Elias is such a character in a day and age where I feel we've got a lot of wrestlers, and I'm not saying one thing's better than the other, but for me, I think a big character like a feud with John Cena would be fantastic. A feud with The Undertaker would be fantastic. I know I'm putting myself in the realm of these guys who obviously have this legendary status. I understand that, but that's the kind of thing I need." And number 5. John Cena. Whilst John Cena has followed the path of The Rock, concentrating on his film career, he still makes sporadic appearances in WWE. Before leaving to film Playing with Fire, Cena appeared on both Raw and SmackDown and was expected to start a feud with Lars Sullivan that would have culminated with a match at WrestleMania. How they would have kept that feud going for 3 months without the presence of Cena is beyond us, but it probably would have played out the same way Cena's feud with The Undertaker played out at WrestleMania 34. A kind of will he or won't he show up. But Sullivan experienced cold feet and the feud was nixed, but despite Cena being advertised for Mania, he still has no feud or any indication of a match at Mania. Having him in his own one-on-one match will bring the tally of matches to 17, which is far too many, even for WrestleMania. Nevertheless, Dave Meltzer believes Cena is still going to get his own match, and it won't be against Kurt Angle. He mentioned on the Wrestling Observer Radio, "The Cena match is being kept secret. I mean, even people who know everything don't know that one. I mean, people internal do know, but I don't know who it is. It's not Kurt for sure. He's got nothing to do with the Kurt match. Kurt is wrestling Baron Corbin. Unless there's another guy who's coming in that we don't know, that's what it's gonna be. Meltzer added, Cena has a nice spot. It's nothing that big, but it's well placed and will end up being good. Should Cena be the one to interrupt Elias, or should he be the last participant in the Battle Royal? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.